Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRFBets race of the day for Saturday, October the 27th, race number 9 at Keeneland. It's the Grade 2 Hagyard Fayette Stakes going 1.1 miles. It's a race, it's a card you can play with a new DRFBets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com, receive a 300% deposit match. Here's the field for the Hagyard Fayette. Again, we're going 1.1 miles for $200,000, and you can access free formulator past performances for the race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Please download them and handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, beginning, Matt, with a surprising morning line favorite. I would have thought that the one Prime Attraction would have been the third choice on the morning line. I realize he's taken on the best of the best. Didn't think he'd be the morning line chalk at 2-1 for Kent DeZormo.
I tell you what, I'll be absolutely flabbergasted if he's the favorite come post time. I don't think there's any question that Hofburg will be the favorite and a heavy favorite, but we'll get to him in a little bit. You brought it up. Prime Attraction has faced arguably the best of any of these horses as far as company is concerned. The Accelerates, the West Coasts, the Pavels of the world. Those are all Grade 1 winners. There's still something about Prime Attraction. It feels like, we talk about it every time. There's talent there. It's just, when are you going to get the good version of him? You haven't really gotten the good version of him in each of the past 2 starts, but to be fair, he's been overmatched. I still feel like shipping into Kentucky, I don't know what you're going to get, and at a short price, I'm not particularly interested, to be honest.
In his last 5 dirt races, he has run into Accelerate. His 6th dirt race, the race before those Accelerate races, he aired in the Native Diver with a 104 Beyer speed figure. So maybe he just needs to get away from Accelerate. And as you mentioned, he does have some natural speed. I wonder if Kent's going to use the inside post to his advantage. Timeform US disagrees with my assessment. As we take a look at the pace projector, yeah, they have Prime Attraction close, but they also have Leofric, who was a pace presser last time out in the Woodward out there on the lead. I think if Prime Attraction's aggressive, Leofric, a horse that's won from off the pace in the past, would be more than happy to sit second.
I agree with that because, like you say, Leofric has at least shown the ability to be a little bit versatile in the past. Heck, he's even come from way out of it in the past, but he does most of his running more closely sort of up attending the pace. If for some reason Prime Attraction and Kent, they are intent on taking the lead, I think Leofric's going to be content sitting just off.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some wet weather in Lexington, Kentucky on Saturday. That's something for Prime Attraction to deal with. Being out in Southern California, you usually don't have to deal with that kind of weather. The number 2, Nice Not Nice, well, he's nice, and he's gotten good recently for trainer Buff Bradley. A winner 2 starts back at Ellis and a really solid performance when stepped up in the Grade 3 ACAC. He finished ahead of a couple of Breeders' Cup aspirants in that race when running second to the good Seeking the Soul, a Grade 1 winner at Churchill Downs in his own right. To me, what I found interesting is that Buff Bradley won this race last year with the Player, coming off of an optional claiming win at Ellis and a runner-up effort in the ACAC. Same situation with Nice Not Nice, who I think has enough tactical speed to stay close. I'm hoping he can stay the trip.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess the big concern for me is this trip, because not just the 1 1/8 situation. There's a part of me that wonders, you go through, I realize he's done some decent things going 2 turns. Ellis Park, keep in mind, 1 mile, it's basically like a turn and a half. It's not really truly 2 turns. I almost get the feeling that he might be slightly better going 1 turn, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that he's incapable of going 2 turns. More importantly, the 1 1/8, not totally sold on that. But look, if you believe the ACAC, and all of a sudden this horse has taken a step forward from a speed figure standpoint, he's going to work out a nice trip in here. And if you have questions about Prime Attraction, maybe you don't love Leofric, and you think you're going to get the jump on Hofburg, at 10-1, what's wrong with Not Nice Nice?
Now you and I
nice, not nice.
You and I have never been fans of Hence, and that's not very nice considering that Steve Asmussen has kind of been a genius in placing this horse. He's a multiple graded stakes winner, graded wins at Sunland Park and Prairie Meadows, and his last 2 victories have come at Albuquerque and Remington Park. And because of it, this horse has made over $875,000. The problem is when he plays with the big boys, the big boys are usually a little bit tough for Hence. The good news if you're a Hence fan is he likes a wet track, he loves 1 1/8 miles, and he's going to be a price.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I think you summed it up perfectly. He's that kind of horse that in those Midwest region races, he can go out there and he can make hay. He's nice when they test him against better company. He's probably just not quite as good and up to par. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You can make a ton of money with a horse like this. He's going to come from way out of it, so he's probably going to be very pace dependent. If the pace doesn't heat up, he's probably up against it from a win standpoint. But if you're playing a try or a super, maybe he's one that you should be considering underneath.
You could make the argument that the Keeneland grad, number 4, Scuba, at 15-1 on the morning line, wants a longer distance than a mile and an eighth. He won the marathon when I think it was the Breeders' Cup Marathon back in 2016 at 14 furlongs. And I wonder if this old boy's just lost a little zip off the old heater. I thought at the beginning of this year, when he was third in the mine shaft behind the aforementioned The Player, that maybe he turned the corner, but his last few races have been a little bit disappointing, although maybe he's dirtied up. Turf last time out. In that flat out he was in against Hard Stud. He was a real solid horse at those longer distances. I'm not convinced he's in the form he needs to be, and if he was, wouldn't he be? And if he was in that form, wouldn't he be running in the marathon?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think it's more about what you were kind of touching on, that maybe at 7 years old, soon to be 8 years old here, maybe he just can't really hang with the big boys anymore. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. He's done some good things throughout his career. They tried the turf most recently, clearly didn't work. I think there's just a situation where, you know what, Father Time catches up to everyone, and I do wonder if Scuba were at that point now where he's not quite what he once was.
I may take some heat for this statement, but while Hofburg's the big name in this race, I wonder if Leofric's the horse to beat based on his effort in the Woodward. And I know a lot of people were kind of bashing the Woodward after the race, but all that race has produced is 3 next out winners, and as well as Sunny Ridge, who came back to run second in the Grade 2 Kelso with a triple-digit buyer. And that race had a pretty fast pace. Yoshida, Gunnevera coming from way out of it to dominate. Leofric was on that pace throughout and was battling real hard all the way into deep stretch. Now, I'm not sure a mile and an eighth is his best game, but boy, he ran great in the Woodward.
Yeah, he certainly did, and I agree with you. I think this distance might be pushing it just a little bit, but at the same time, the versatility that he has and the form that he's in, I don't know that I can really discount him or discredit him in here. Co-highest last out buyer in the field with a 98. It's just going to be one of those instances. I think the trip is going to dictate a lot. If Prime Attraction goes and Leofric sits, I think he's got a big chance. If he has to go out there and go fast and take some heat, then I'm probably a little bit more concerned about that mile and an eighth.
Florent Giroux back aboard, 2 for 2 lifetime aboard Leofric. And oh, did we mention Brad Cox is the trainer? Let's see this formulator fact for Leofric. Over the past year, older dirt routers off a 45 to 60 day layoff. Ho hum for Brad, 35% winners, a 233 ROI. Hofburg is the big name as he tackles older horses for the first time. A mile and an eighth in a wet track is not going to be a problem. That contributed to a career best buyer speed figure when he won the Keeneland 2 starts back. The Keeneland supposed to be a prep race for the Travers. He got sick. He missed the Travers. He returns in the Pennsylvania Derby. When the PPs came out and we saw blinkers on, we said, what happened?
Yeah. And
he showed
now
no speed.
Yeah, and then you see the effort in the Pennsylvania Derby where it was basically a non-effort. He never picked his feet up at any point. Forget about not showing the speed that we hoped he would show, especially with the workouts leading into it. He just didn't run at all. And to me, it's one of those instances where I think from a talent standpoint, I think he's the most talented horse in the race. But given the fact that he's going to be likely the favorite, again, I'll be stunned if he's not the favorite. He's going to take a ton of money in here. He may not get an ideal pace situation in order to run at. I don't know. This is, to me, it's not a make or break race for Hofburg. But pretty soon, it's put up or shut up. Is he going to be one of those sort of glories when he faces lesser company and he goes out there and just blows their doors off? And then when he faces decent horses, he can't cut it? We'll find out. He's done some good things throughout his career. I'm still hopeful. I don't want to be touching him here in this race.
Bill Mott said he didn't seem to handle the surface at Parks in the Pennsylvania Derby. He must have been 5-6 wide on the far turn, but that punch just was not there when Arad Ortiz called for it at the quarter pole. Completing the field is Rated R Superstar, who kind of won the complimentary race during the Keeneland Spring Meet of the Fayette. The Ben Ali at a mile and an eighth for older horses. Now, I thought he got a really nice setup that day to win coming from well off the pace. I never thought this horse was a mile and an eighth horse. He's okay. He probably needs a lot of things to go his way to win this.
Yeah, I would agree with that coming from way out of it. I guess it's a positive that he has a victory at Keeneland, but to be honest with you, if I'm looking for a deep closer, I'm probably picking either Hofburg or Hentz to be, because I just think they're better horses than Rated R Superstar.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 2 Hagyard Fayette Stakes at Keeneland, your DRFBets race of the day. You're going with Leofric, and I can't blame you at all considering the effort in the Woodward. Again, finishing ahead of 3 next out winners and another 100 buyer horse, a horse with wonderful tactical speed, who you have to think, barring a disastrous break, is going to get the jump on the horse he has to beat, Hofburg, turning into the stretch.
Yeah, I think he just trips out in here. Now, again, you brought up that 1 1/8, and I'm with you. I'm not totally convinced that this is the ideal distance for him, but at the same time, the form that he's in, I kind of feel like if he runs the Woodward again, I think he wins this race. And I'm just hopeful that Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, they can keep him going along in a fashion similar to that. And again, the tactical ability, the versatility. He doesn't have to have the lead. If it's given to him, fantastic. If it's not, he can sit just off prime attraction. I think there's some things to like about a horse like Leofric in here.
Usually with a horse like Nice Not Nice, I see a standout buyer like that and I go, but then I look at the horses he's in against. Seeking the Soul, Giant Expectations, Warriors Club, Awesome Slew, etc. Those are horses that could certainly run buyer speed figures in the mid to high 90s. This is a horse that spent most of his time on the turf. And I wonder if he's just been a dirt horse all along. And I find it fascinating that Buff Bradley's using the same pattern that worked for the Player last year. Now, the Player didn't have the depth of field that this horse is going to have to beat on Saturday, but the price is going to be right. He's got a fig from the last race. He's got some tactical speed. I'll take a shot at Nice Not Nice, 10-1 on the morning line. Give me numbers.
In this spot, I'm going to go 5, 6, and 1.
I'm going 2, 5. 6, and 1 in the Grade 2 Hagyard Fayette. Bet it with a new DRFBets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com. Receive a 300% deposit match just in time for the Breeders' Cup. Approximate post time for the Fayette, 5:30 Eastern. Good luck.